Let me be very direct with you. If you're waiting for certainty before making your next move, you're already losing, you just don't feel the pain yet. Certainty feels comforting. It feels responsible. It feels like maturity. And that's exactly why it's so dangerous. Most people mistake comfort for wisdom. They confuse the absence of fear with good decision making. The world doesn't reward certainty. It rewards people who move while things are still unclear, while their hands are shaking, and the outcome isn't guaranteed. Set up the pain and stakes. Over the years, I've met thousands of intelligent people, engineers, managers, professionals, people who did everything right. And yet, most of them never built anything meaningful. Not a business, not wealth, not even a life they were proud of. Not because they were lazy, not because they were incapable, but because they were always waiting for the right timing, waiting for more information, waiting for the economy to stabilize, waiting for fear to go away. If that sounds familiar, this video is about you. You tell yourself you're being cautious. You tell yourself you're protecting what you have, but what you're really doing is postponing discomfort. You delay decisions. You hold on to cash longer than you should. You analyze endlessly. And years quietly disappear while you call it being responsible. Here's the uncomfortable truth most people never confront. Most lives don't collapse from bad decisions. They quietly shrink from indecision. Reframe and big promise. Here's what I learned after decades of building things that, statistically, shouldn't have worked. There is no moment when everything lines up. There is no final signal that says, now it's safe. Every meaningful decision I've ever made, starting companies, risking my entire net worth, committing years of my life, was made with incomplete information and very real fear. By the end of this video, you'll understand three things clearly. Why certainty is a trap that keeps intelligent people stuck. How waiting quietly destroys opportunity without you noticing. And how to make decisions without feeling ready intelligently, not recklessly. This isn't motivation, it's reality. Lesson 1, certainty does not exist. Here's the first thing I had to accept, and it took me longer than it should have. Certainty isn't delayed, it's fictional. When I started SpaceX, the odds were terrible. Rockets exploded. We failed again and again. Money almost ran out completely. At one point, we were weeks away from shutting down. There was no spreadsheet, no forecast, no expert opinion that could guarantee success. If I had waited until I felt confident, SpaceX would not exist today. People like to ask me, how did you know it would work? I didn't. What I knew was simpler and harder to accept. The risk of not trying felt worse than the risk of failure. I could survive failure. I couldn't live with permanent regret. Practical takeaway, stop asking, will this work? Start asking, if this fails, can I survive it? That question changes everything. Lesson 2, waiting feels safe until it isn't. Most people believe waiting reduces risk. It doesn't. It just changes the kind of risk you're taking. When you wait, you're betting that the future will be kinder than the present, that markets will improve, that conditions will stabilize, that clarity will arrive someday and make the decision easy. Sometimes it does, often it doesn't. I've watched people sit on money for decades, terrified of making a mistake. Inflation slowly eats away at it. Opportunity passes them by, and eventually time becomes the constraint they can't fix. The danger is subtle. It doesn't announce itself, it doesn't cause panic, it just quietly compounds. Practical takeaway, if doing nothing feels comfortable, ask yourself what it's costing you every year financially and in missed opportunity, not emotionally, mathematically. Lesson 3, speed beats perfection. This lesson cost me a lot of pain before it finally stuck. Perfection is slow. Reality moves fast. At Tesla, we made decisions constantly with partial data. Some of them were wrong. We corrected them. We learned. We moved again. Iteration beat hesitation every single time. People who wait for perfect information don't avoid mistakes. They just avoid momentum. And without momentum, nothing improves. If a decision can be reversed, delaying it is usually the real mistake. Practical takeaway, separate decisions into two categories. Reversible decisions move quickly. Irreversible decisions slow down. Most people treat everything as irreversible. That's why they never move. Lesson 4, fear masquerades as logic. This is one of the most dangerous traps intelligent people fall into. Fear almost never says, I'm afraid. It says, let's think about this a bit more. I've felt it myself many times. The difference is, I learned to recognize the pattern. Fear borrows rational language. It pretends to be wisdom. It disguises hesitation as responsibility. And if you listen to it long enough, It'll keep you exactly where you are, forever preparing, never acting. Practical takeaway. If your logic always leads to delay, ask yourself whether it's logic or fear wearing a suit. Lesson 5. Regret comes from inaction, not failure. This is something people usually realize too late. Failure fades. Regret doesn't. I don't lose sleep over the risks that didn't work. I lose sleep thinking about the moments I played it safe when I shouldn't have, when I let comfort override conviction. Time amplifies hesitation. The older you get, the heavier those missed chances feel. Practical takeaway. Before delaying any important decision, ask one honest question. Will I regret not trying more than failing? Most of the time, the answer is immediate.